What's up, guys? Today I want to talk about one of my favorite horror movies of all time, The Blair Witch Project. Now, I know some people either love this movie or completely hate it, but for me, it honestly was one of the most genius horror films ever made. The first time I saw it, I didn't even feel like I was watching a regular movie, honestly. It felt real. The shaky cam, the arguing, the slow build of paranoia, everything that incorporated into this movie. I felt like I was out there in the woods with them. And the crazy part of it all, back when it first came out, people actually really thought it was real. Hell, I thought it was real. The marketing made it seem like an actual documentary, and that made it 10 times scarier for us. So why is it my favorite? Very simple. It doesn't rely on gore, or big CGI monsters, or even cheap jump scares. It's pure psychological horror. You don't see the witch, you don't know what's out there, and your mind fills in the blanks, and honestly, your imagination runs wild in this movie, and you feel like you're inside the woods. But if I'm being real, if I had made this movie myself, I probably would have done a few things differently. Now, not every movie is completely correct, not every movie is completely honest, and not every movie is completely perfect. Not major stuff, though, that I would change, because the simplicity is what makes it brilliant. Maybe I'd add a few more hidden details. Like maybe you catch a weird shadow in the background for half a second, or maybe a strange sound that only plays if you're really paying attention, but just enough to keep people second guessing. Still subtle, still mysterious, but just enough to keep people second guessing what's out there. Now let's get into the fun part of this movie, the myths and theories. Fans for years have made their own opinions and myths about this movie, because the Blair Witch has spawned so many fan theories over the years. One theory is that the Blair Witch wasn't even a witch, it was Rustin Parr, a hermit from the lore who kidnapped and murdered his kids. Some people believe his spirit is what haunts the woods, not some supernatural witch. And another popular theory is that Josh, one of the three filmmakers, was in on it, and he disappeared and lures Heather and Mike deeper into the woods. He's helping the witch, or he's setting them up the whole time in this film. And then, there's the scariest theory to me. The forest itself is cursed. Like it bends reality. We've all been in the woods, we've all been camping, we all know what it is to hear creepy sounds and see things that maybe not are there. And the characters in the movie are doing the same thing. Characters keep walking in circles even when they're using a compass. The woods trap you, confuse you, and slowly drive you insane. You're lost into something bigger than you. Like the rules of time and space don't apply anymore. Some people argue that the witch doesn't exist at all, that the whole thing is just a metaphor of paranoia and fear. Basically, they destroyed themselves, and the witch is just their own terror eating them alive, which would make sense, honestly. And of course, we gotta talk about the ending. Oh, the ending. Heather goes down to the basement, and there's Mike standing in the corner. Just like the story of Rustin Parr, where he made his kids face the wall by killing them off, one by one, the screen cuts to black. No explanation, no answers, just pure dread. To this day, the ending still freaks me out because we never know exactly what happened, and this is where your mind goes crazy. That's the genius of the Blair Witch. It leaves everything up to you. You fill in the gaps, and then that makes it scare you. That's why I call it my favorite horror film, and that's why I keep rewatching it. And if I notice something new, I start thinking of a new theory. But here's the question I always ask myself in the end. If I were out there in the woods, would I survive? Or would I be just another victim? Or even worse, my own deep thoughts. Alright, let's dive into those Blair Witch myths we talked about earlier. The spirit of Rustin Parr. Some say there never was a witch at all. What haunts those woods is the ghost of Rustin Parr, the hermit who murdered children in the 1940s. They say his spirit still lingers, whispering in the trees, luring anyone foolish enough to wander too far into his cabin. The witch, just a cover for something even darker. The forest that moves. The scariest myth isn't about the witch, it's about the forest itself. Travelers claim that the woods shift while walking, bending space and time. You can walk into a straight line for hours, only to end up right back where you started. The forest doesn't want you to leave, and eventually, you don't. What if the real monster wasn't the witch, but Josh? Some believe he was working with her all along, leading Heather and Mike deeper into the woods. His screams at night? No. A trick to draw them closer. Maybe he was never a victim. Maybe he was bait. Stick figures. These little stick figures dangling in the trees, they're not decorations. The legends say they're soul traps, binding the spirits of victims so they can never escape. Snap one in half, the person it represents dies instant. Some even believe that filmmakers stepped into a forest already filled with trapped souls, hanging silently above their heads. The Blair Witch is never seen because she doesn't have one form. Some myths say she can appear as an old woman, a shadow, or even an animal in the woods. You can look her right in the eyes and never know it. She chooses how she wants to be seen, and how you'll be destroyed in the end. The final scene wasn't random. The myth said that the witch forces one victim to stand in the corner while she kills the other, so they never see it happen. That's why Mike faced the wall in the basement. He wasn't hiding, he was obeying. Screams in the distance and Josh calling for help, those weren't real. The witch, they said, can mimic voices, twisting sound through trees. She calls you with the voice of someone you love, and once you follow, you'll never be seen again. No bones, no blood, no bodies. That's because the witch doesn't just kill, she feeds the force. The trees drink her blood, the soil swallows the flesh, and nothing is left behind. That's why no trace of the missing is ever found. Some legends whisper that there isn't just one Blair Witch. Every time she takes a victim, her spirit passes into another body, and the old witch dies and a new one is born. For all we know, one of those filmmakers didn't die. They became the next witch. Maybe Josh. And finally, Ellie Kedward's curse. Ellie Kedward was accused of witchcraft in the 1700s and left to die in the woods, but the legend says she never died at all. She was swallowed by the force, her body twisting with roots and vines, her soul merging with the land itself. The Blair Witch isn't just a ghost, it's the whole goddamn woods. What are your thoughts about these myths, and what are your thoughts about the whole movie? Did you like the movie? Did you not like the movie? Let us know. Leave in the comments, and also subscribe and like, and hit that notification button so you know when we go live or we put new videos up each week. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and stay safe out there, guys. Enjoy.